Hey guys, Mayflom here, and this little heart within a heart cut out of this material here. Well, guess what? That is the Brother stamp material made specifically for the ScanNCut, and you can create your own stamps. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. First of all, it's a very thin material. So for those of you who are used to a very thick stamp, or you know, something that's going to be really, really hardy and you can really smash your ink pads in, you're not going to want to do that with this because it is so thin. You don't want to get ink all over your stamping block, though, as you can see with mine here, it's already very inky. I am loving the possibilities here, and I will also suggest to you that you can definitely season this a bit with things like a permanent ink pad, sometimes going over any kind of clear stamp, going over it a couple times with a permanent ink pad and stamping a few times just to get it seasoned is a really good idea. So that's definitely something I'm going to be doing. As you can see, there's just so much fun to be had. So enough of my rambling. Let's talk about what is this, why might you want to do it, and what do you need to do it? So to do something like this, as I said before, this is material all cut out from the Brother material that they sell separately from the machines. And these are just a couple shapes that I created. I created a leaf, and here it is stamped a bunch of times. I created a leaf twice and glued them together and glued that onto a wood block. So I am experimenting with, especially if I double it up to make it a little thicker, can I create my own wood mounted stamps? And if you can buy little wood blocks online in shops, all kinds of places. So I'm experimenting with that. A lot of play going on. Let me show you how you would do this. So the material comes in a sheet, and it also has some clear plastic. You want to take one of the sides off, but I actually take both of the sides off, and I'll show you the how and why. And then we have, of course, a standard mat. You're just going to put this on the mat wherever it is you want it to be on the mat. And before I really press that down, I'm going to start at one end. I just find that this material sometimes can get kind of crinkly, and we don't want crinkles in it. We want it to be nice and smooth against the material. So I'll start at one end, and if it's getting wily on me, if it's not doing what I want it to do, if I'm getting a lot of creases or anything, I will just kind of lift it up and place it back down. When it was a brand new sheet of material, I really didn't have a problem. Now that I've cut out 5 different stamps out of it, it can get a little temperamental, but I can certainly work around that. So this is on my mat. We're gonna go ahead and load it into the machine that I have all queued up here. And we're going to just load that right up. Oops. You know, it helps if I have both sides at the same time, guys. Okay, so all loaded up, we're gonna go into pattern, and you can pick anything you want. I haven't done super intricate designs yet, but that doesn't mean I won't. We're gonna try this one. We're gonna see how this more intricate design does. So we're gonna push this blue button here. We're gonna push this because what that does is scan the material. And believe it or not, it's totally going to show us where that is, where my stamp material is, so that we know where we can put our designs. This is really so easy, which has me so excited because I was thinking I had to get on the computer and do all this fancy stuff to make this work, and I've learned that no. So yes, it shows, not only can you see the material, but I can also easily see where the edges of the material are. I can easily see where I've already cut. And I don't want to get super close to the edge, but I'm going to get pretty close here. And then we're going to say, okay. Now, besides the material, you will need the deep cut blade for this. It does not work with the regular blade. At least it did not for me. I need the deep cut blade here. So, go in with the deep cut blade and cut. I have it set at 6.5 right now. And once it is finished cutting, I can eject the mat, and let's take a look and see here. Oh, looks like it did pretty well. Yep, yes indeed. So you can see that, and we're going to want to be gentle with the material. We're not going to want to yank on it, but we've got that little plastic bit there. And look at that. I've got my own little flourish stamp now. Now I can go around And all I would have to do, we're ready to go, guys. We're ready to go. Like I said before, with any brand new stamp, if you're an avid stamper, you already know this. With any brand new stamp, you want to season it a bit. In other words, you want to use it a few times, test it out a few times. Here's my heart that I created earlier, the heart within the heart. To do this, I made 2 different size hearts, placed one within the other, and cut. So you could do all kinds of things. If you wanted your own alphabet, there's a lot of possibilities. Currently, I'm kind of playing around with, okay, now how am I going to store these guys? What's the best way going to be for me to store those? So when I decide what I think the very best way for that is, I will be sure to let you know. For right now, I'm just going to enjoy seasoning and playing with this new flourish of mine. Now, one last thing before I go. One last thing to mention, a really big plus for this kind of stamping material. If you do like mixed media pieces or you're doing things where you need it to have flexibility, look at that flexibility. I could totally stamp this and bend it around things. Another thing that I could do, and I think it will take really well to, is to utilize paint. And in fact, I'm just gonna see if I can grab some paint for us here. Here's some paint. So I'm gonna use a little piece of plastic here and squirt a little paint on there, and then I'm just going to use a brush to apply some paint, and I'm not going to worry if it gets off the edge. A little bit off the edge, that'll be okay. As long as there's no big globs, it should be fine. But I'm just going to paint this, and it might be kind of an interesting purpley green because I didn't wash off the purple ink, but let's see what it does. You know, with stuff like this, I do like to experiment with it and see what happens and see what it does. And I have a feeling that oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, that is going to be so much fun. Let's see if I can get a second stamp off of it. Well, only parts, but still, this is going to be really fun. There are so many applications for this. There's so much fun that we can have with our own homemade stamps. I will link up for you guys to the ScanNCut website where you can see more information about the stamps and all of that. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. I'll see you next time.